Welcome into Steelers Talk Live. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. I am back from my mini vacation back home to Minnesota, where I was spending the time with my family and Cassie's family, watching Cassie's sister graduate from high school. But we are back here on Steelers Talk to talk about the latest surrounding the black and gold. First up, we got a report today from Adam Schefter that the Steelers will be hosting wide receiver Gabe Davis on a visit this week in Pittsburgh on Thursday, so I'll let you guys know if I think it's a good idea for the Steelers to bring in Gabe Davis. Then we will talk about the latest Steelers quarterback rumors that have come in over the last several days, talking about Aaron Rodgers, talking about Kirk Cousins, and then Jerry Dulac says that he's been told something about the Steelers' plan B if they don't land Aaron Rodgers. Some interesting stuff coming up in that second segment. Then I'll let you guys know Arthur Smith's genius strategy for building up the Steelers' offense heading into next season, and then we'll get into our latest Madden Sim this week, Week 6 versus the Cleveland Browns. Coop, I hear myself echoing crazy in my ear right now after that.
Do, but we'll fix it later.
We'll fix it later because we're in our new studio. But Coop, how we doing here, my friend? Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Coop, we are back. We are in our actual brand new studio here. It's the new Steelers Talk studio.
Oh, yeah.
We'll probably put a photo of it up on the channel here relatively soon on our community page, so you guys can check it out. But we still got some things to work out with the computer and all this different stuff. But Coop's got a big desk now. We got our own space. We got our own TV, our own separate space. So we get to enjoy this space here because we have earned it because of the support that you guys have given to us here at Steelers Talk. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. And you guys can actually support the show today by sending in a donation if you feel like that you appreciate me and Coop's efforts in this channel, giving you guys the best damn Steelers coverage money can buy, 100% free here on YouTube. Here's our donation menu today. We will be giving away a Steelers Talk hat. We just got a new shipment of these puppies today, so if you want to get into the raffle to win the hat, $5 gets you in. We have to make $50 in donations today in order to raffle off a hat. $10 gets you some extra raffle tickets there, 3 of them there for a 10. And then for 20, you guys get 10 raffle tickets, plus you get your name on the Steelers Talk gong that we have been filling up names with all summer long. You guys can see some of the names in silver already. $50 will bang for you here on the channel, plus we are going to guarantee that you get a Steelers Talk hat, all right? So our bosses just reduced the price and slashed it in half. It used to be $100, but you guys have been doing such a good job donating that they have decided to cut the price in half, just $50 now. Purchases you one of the limited edition Steelers Talk hats that we're going to be giving away this summer. But if you don't have $50 to spend on a hat, you can send in like a 5 or a 10 and get into the raffle to win one later today. Then $250 total. If as a team we can get to $250 in total donations, we will hit the gong, and that will be the 4th straight live show in a row that we would be able to do that. We've done it 3 straight shows. Hopefully we can get to 250 once again today. And I'll tell you guys what, if you send in your donations via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, I will double your raffle tickets today to win the hat. So if you send in a $5 Venmo, then I'll double your raffle tickets to a 2. Same thing goes for a $10 Venmo. I'll make it 6. And if you put in a $20 Venmo, I'll give you 20 raffle tickets to win that Steelers Talk hat today. You can find me at Jack_Sperry on Venmo, # Captain Jack 19 on Cash App, or at Captain Jack Rabbit on PayPal. So you guys can take care of that if you guys want. And Coop, let's get those me's going in the chat room right now. I already see Justin Yankuski. I see Paranormal in the Funhouse is here. We've already got 200 people watching live here on Steelers Talk. We've got Steelers Dad. We've got Steeli. We've got Kevin Reed in here. Michael Dormant is here. We got Christopher Turner. We got Michael Dormant. Pizza is Goated is here. L.A. Brooks is here. We've got Christian Andujar. We got Christopher Carver. What's up, Carver? Good to see you. Got Kyle Jones. We've got Steelers Fan 2010. We got Matt Sikora. We've got O-Dubs. We've got Robert Locke in here. Earl Love is here. Matt Sikora. Trevo Beats. And we just got our first $20 Venmo of the day here, Coop. I'll send it your way.
We also got a $5 super chat from Justin Yankuski, which you'll get to while I get that ready.
Justin, $5 says, do you think trade talks are that bad that we are bringing in Davis? Well, I think they're bringing in Davis to do their due diligence on him, and I think specifically they want to do a medical check on him. He just tore his meniscus last year. He didn't come back from that. And he did have visits with both the Giants and 49ers this offseason, and neither team ended up signing him. And you guys will remember in seasons past, and even this offseason, the Steelers brought in Kyle Juszczyk for a visit. He ended up going back to the 49ers. They brought in Bud Dupree for a visit in a previous offseason, ended up going to the Atlanta Falcons. Like, just because someone's visiting doesn't mean that they are necessarily going to sign. And I do think that because Gabe Davis is coming off that torn meniscus, they're going to want to have their doctors check him out and see if he can get the green flag for them to potentially sign him. Now, it's also possible that they're in conversations with other teams and even other free agents about other players. Like, they could be in communication with other free agents like Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper. They could be in communication with other teams to try and facilitate a trade. All I know is that it sounds like the Steelers want to add another playmaker to their offense, and it's going to be interesting to see which player they end up adding before the start of Steelers training camp in late July. Jason Ballett coming in with a $20 Venmo. That means 20 raffle tickets for Mr. Jason to win the hat today. He says, would Davis be better than Cooper as an outside wide receiver? I'm going to be answering this question, Jason, for you in our first segment today. We'll be breaking down Gabe Davis and my thoughts on him. We'll also talk a little bit about Amari Cooper in that video as well. So I'm just going to defer to our first segment today. But Coop, are we about ready here to get into our first segment? Or are you still figuring some stuff out here? Sounds good. Perfect. Okay. So again, guys, we do have a bunch of great segments coming your way. We're going to be getting into our Madden Sim at the end of today's show. So far, Mason Rudolph and Will Howard have gotten the Steelers to a 2-2 record. Hopefully they can get a win and improve to over 500 for the first time in our Madden simulated season with a win over the Browns. But first, our live segment starting with Gabe Davis visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm going to let you guys know whether the black and gold should end up bringing him in this offseason. All right, so Coop is getting us ready here, and he's giving me the 1 second signal. Now he gives me the thumbs up. Let's get into our first segment on today's edition of Steelers Talk Live. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today we got word that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be bringing in free agent wide receiver Gabe Davis on a visit in Pittsburgh this Thursday, and this is definitely drawing up a stir in Steelers Nation because, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking to add a new playmaker to this offense after trading away George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys just a short few weeks ago. But make sure you guys stay tuned for today's show because we're going to be talking about the latest on the TJ Watt contract situation. We got a little bit of an update over the weekend that I want to share my thoughts on, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But before we get into the content today, you guys remember Trader Joey. Joey started off here at Chat Sports as an assistant producer for Steelers Talk. Now he's the host of Ravens Rundown. He's completely jumped ship, and he doesn't think that we can beat his last video in terms of the total amount of likes. They just broke their all-time channel record with likes with 1,898 likes. And congratulations, Joey. That's great. That's a record for you guys. I'm going to show you guys right now that we can do that on a regular video here on Steelers Talk. So if you haven't already, if you want to beat the Rappards, if you want to embarrass these fools, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon right now if you want to represent Steelers Nation. All right, so let's get into the news of the day. Adam Schefter reported earlier today that free agent wide receiver Gabe Davis will be visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers on Thursday, which, by the way, is the last day of Steelers OTAs this year in preparation for their mandatory minicamp next week. Now, Gabe Davis, he's 26 years old, so he's still relatively young. He's got incredible size, 6'2", 225 pounds. He uses that frame, and he actually has some pretty decent speed, and he can set up double moves, and he's a good vertical threat with that big body. So that would be kind of the appeal for Arthur Smith. Also, he's an excellent run blocker at that size and gives excellent effort. He's an awesome teammate and locker room guy, so complete opposite of what George Pickens was. here's the kicker. He did tear his meniscus in 2024 with the Jaguars, and he honestly didn't have a great season with the Jags last year outside of the Buffalo Bills offense. Now, the positives when it comes to Gabe Davis is that he would be a super cheap option because of the offset clause in the contract that he had with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Steelers can pay him essentially the vet minimum, and he would be making the same amount of money, and the Jacksonville Jaguars would have to pay the rest of his contract of the figure he would have had to make if he was still on the team there in Duval. He's also a good scheme fit, like I talked about. The Steelers want to throw the ball down the field. They like these bigger type of vertical threats, and then also he's also a great scheme fit because of his ability to run block on early downs. And then, all those things are probably the positives when you're talking about Gabe Davis's profile and his potential fit with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I do want you guys to keep in mind here that just because Davis is coming in for a visit doesn't mean that he is definitely going to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He certainly could, but it definitely isn't a done deal, okay? Personally, for me, I don't think Davis is my favorite wide receiver target, guys. I would much rather bring in another free agent wide receiver or trade for somebody that I think would be more complementary to the Steelers wide receiver room than Davis would be if he is brought in here as the new wide receiver 2. I think that Davis probably isn't fully healthy, okay? The reason why I say that is because the 49ers and the Giants both brought in Gabe Davis this offseason, and they didn't sign him, all right? They brought him in for visits, and they didn't sign him. And to me, that tells me that their medical staff, they did their medical check on him, and they didn't like the status of his meniscus, and they decided not to sign him, even though, especially the Giants with the connection that he had with Brian Daboll. Daboll was the offensive coordinator for Davis back in his Buffalo days, and even he didn't feel comfortable enough signing him to a contract. So something tells me that Davis wasn't healthy when he went to San Francisco and New York on those visits, and there's certainly a chance that the Steelers medical staff flags him as well, but we'll see what his status is later in the week when he ends up visiting. Then another thing that's kind of a negative here with Gabe Davis is I think he's redundant with DK Metcalf's skill set. Both of those guys are kind of bigger wide receivers that are vertical threats, and they got a limited route tree, all right? Because they're such big bodies, they don't have great change of direction ability. Now, they have pretty decent straight line speed, and they can set up double moves down the field and stuff like that. They can run digs, but, they have a very limited skill set in terms of the routes that they can run. And if you bring Gabe Davis in here, you got 2 wide receivers on early downs that really have a limited route tree and pretty much run the same exact type of routes. So I think that the skill sets are pretty redundant. Also, Gabe Davis just wasn't a good wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2024. His numbers were abysmal. The numbers went down dramatically from his days playing with Josh Allen, an MVP candidate quarterback. And, after having, I believe, over 800 yards the season previously in Buffalo, he had less than 240 yards receiving last year. Now, he did deal with an injury, but even when you take into account, the per reception and the per game averages and all that stuff, it wasn't a very efficient season for Gabe Davis, who was brought in to essentially be their number 1 X receiver on the outside, and he had 12 yards per reception. That's not terrible, but then when you take into account the yards per target number there, just 5.7, less than half his yards per reception. His catch percentage was less than 50%. So, some of those are on Trevor Lawrence, but some of that also is on Gabe Davis just not getting open, not coming down with the football, and his yards per game as a starting wide receiver was less than 25 yards per game. That's just not very good, guys. And, if you inject Gabe Davis into the Steelers offense, I think you definitely risk having him come in and be the next version of Allen Robinson or Van Jefferson, where they bring him in as kind of expecting him to be kind of that big-time deep threat. And I just don't trust him to be that type of player for the Steelers and be a true number 2 wide receiver. And what it comes down to is I don't really trust his hands. Not only does he have a limited route tree in terms of the routes that he's able to run, but he's also doesn't have the best ball skills in contested catch situations. In terms of true drop rate, the numbers don't look that bad, but when you watch him on film and there's any sort of contest, Davis has trouble coming down with the football. And honestly, right now, I would say Calvin Austin III is a better wide receiver than Gabe Davis is. Based on what those 2 wide receivers showed on film last year, I would rather go with Calvin Austin III as a number 2 wide receiver than Gabe Davis. You just take a look at the numbers last season. The yards per reception, Calvin blew him out of the water with over 15 yards per catch than the yards per target. Way more efficient for CA3. The yards per game, now those are a little bit closer, but Calvin still has the advantage. The catch percentage, Calvin had the much more reliable hands than Davis did, and then his grade overall, according to PFF, was over 10 points higher. So Calvin had the better season last year. Now, obviously, these two guys have different types of roles. Davis is a big body who can run block. Calvin Austin III is pretty much useless in run blocking situations because he's so goddamn tiny. So you wouldn't be asking these guys to play the same role. They'd be playing different roles, but I do think Calvin Austin III would probably be the Steelers' second best receiver still, even if they bring in Gabe Davis this offseason. Then we get into my final negative about signing Gabriel Davis here, which is I think there's better wide receiver options out there on the open market. I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. I understand the positives when it comes to Gabe Davis because he's super cheap and he's a big body and he's a really good run blocker and technically he's a fit in Arthur Smith offense, but I compare him to two other free agent wide receivers that are still available in Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper, and I don't think Gabe was as efficient or more efficient than those guys, okay? Like you look at the numbers and Amari Cooper leads in all of these categories except for the catch percentage. Keenan Allen wins that one with a 57.9, but Gabe Davis's numbers not all that impressive when you compare them to Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper. And by the way, those are two guys that most people think just weren't very good last year. And then when you take into account Amari Cooper's numbers in Buffalo when he finally left the Cleveland Browns, I mean, it's not even close. Amari Cooper had 14.9 yards per reception, 9.3 yards per target, and 62.5% catch percentage, all of which are very efficient numbers for Amari Cooper. So if I'd have to go with a free agent wide receiver, I'm not trading for someone like a Romeo Doubs from the Green Bay Packers or something like that, I would want to go with Amari Cooper. He's a really, really good route runner at his size. And even though he doesn't have the best reputation as a run blocker in terms of the effort he brings there, I do think that he would be more complementary to DK Metcalf's skill set and give the Steelers a true one-on-one separator against man coverage and a true safety blanket for whoever's going to be quarterbacking this team next year. Now, you might be sitting at home saying, but Jack, why haven't they signed Amari Cooper yet if they were interested in him? Wouldn't he have already signed if the Steelers were interested in him? Well, I think the answer to that question revolves around, like most things in Steelers Nation nowadays, Aaron Rodgers, because I don't think an older veteran like Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen want to sign on with the Pittsburgh Steelers if Mason Rudolph or Will Howard is going to be their starting quarterback, all right? I think they probably want to make sure that there's a quarterback on the roster that they feel comfortable being their starter before they sign on the dotted line. And Aaron Rodgers might be the type of guy that they'd be willing to sign with and sign for and play with compared to a guy like Mason Rudolph who's never been an established starting quarterback in this league. So the final word on the Gabe Davis stuff, guys, for me, is that I think that if the Steelers do end up signing him this week after a visit on Thursday, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I do think that there are probably better options out there that I would personally rather sign this offseason. So sign a free agent wide receiver for me down there in the comments section. Type GD for Gabe Davis, AC for Amari Cooper, or KA for Keenan Allen. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section for today's pinned question. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds, and when that happens, take advantage of that time by letting me know which free agent wide receiver you would prefer here in Pittsburgh. And while we wonder who the wide receiver 2 here in Pittsburgh is going to be this year, there's no debate who wide receiver 1 is, and that is DK Metcalf. He'll be wearing the number 4 this year on a brand new contract playing for the black and gold. If you want to get his brand new Steelers jersey from our friends at Fanatics, you can do that right now by using our special link, chatsports.com/DK. If you guys use that link and you make a purchase, Fanatics sends us here at Steelers Talk part of the proceeds to help us pay for new equipment, new office space, help pay the rent, keep the lights on, all the different stuff we got to take care of here so that we can keep our content free. So if you guys want a DK Metcalf jersey, you can go chatsports.com/DK to make that happen. Now on to the TJ Watt portion of our video here, where Mark Caboli, the Steelers correspondent for the Pat McAfee Show, says that the Pittsburgh Steelers have given TJ Watt a contract extension offer. And when this came out, people were like, oh my gosh, huge development. The Steelers have given TJ Watt an offer. I'm going to spoil it for you guys. The Steelers have given TJ Watt an offer, and that offer came a long time ago. This is not new information. And, TJ's had this offer on the table for probably weeks, if not months, at this point. The Pittsburgh Steelers have had their number that they feel comfortable signing TJ Watt to, and they've pretty much extended that to him and his agent. And obviously, TJ and his agent didn't feel like it was enough money, and they haven't accepted it. And that's just kind of the way these negotiations go. Teams send out an offer that they feel comfortable with. The player either accepts or doesn't, and then usually there's a long break where there's no negotiating, and then once things kind of get closer to the season, they start to hash things out a little bit more. But, my best guess when it comes to the TJ Watt situation is that it's probably going to get close, if not even into training camp, where, it's getting closer to the season. As we know, the Steelers don't do contract extensions during the season, so there's a very hard deadline to get this deal done. And I do think, because of how valuable TJ Watt is to the defense and the team as a whole, and the Steelers are in a win-now mindset, the Steelers will feel like they have no choice but to pay up for TJ Watt. And just a fair warning here, guys, it is going to be very, very pricey for that extension. It's going to be around $40 million per season is my guess, if not more than that. He might even ask to be the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history, all right? So he signed his latest contract a few years back. He's still in the top 10 highest paid edge rushers. So he's definitely somebody that wants to reset the market. And with the production that he has had since he's come into the league, and all the Defensive Player of the Year nominations and wins that he has had, it's no wonder why TJ wants to get paid what Myles Garrett got paid this year at the Cleveland Browns, which of course was $40 million per season. So let me know down there in the comments section, will Watt's new deal be over or under $40 million per season? Type O if you think over, type U if you think under. Let me know what you guys are thinking down there in the comment section. For me, I think it's going to be just a tick over $40 million per season. So now today, the OTAs for the Pittsburgh Steelers resumed in Pittsburgh at UPMC Sports Complex there in Pittsburgh. And the talk of the town, at least today, was Darnell Washington, the tight end, who apparently has been losing some poundage this offseason and building up some more muscle, getting leaner. Last year, he was over 260 pounds for a blocking tight end. That is massive. Apparently, he is down 15 pounds this year. He wanted to get leaner and more explosive, and that can only mean good things for him and his career and the Pittsburgh Steelers offense as a whole. He is an absolute menace when he is doing his job as a blocking tight end and he's not getting lost out there or whatever. He's arguably the best blocking tight end in football, in my opinion, with his size and athleticism and his nastiness. I'm really hoping that in year 3 here, everything really begins to click for him. It started to click last year, not fully, but I'm hoping this year's the year where Darnell Washington truly becomes the most consistent and best and probably most menacing run blocking tight end in football. It would certainly do the Steelers' run game a hell of a lot of good. So that'll be it for today's show, guys. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button for OTA updates throughout the week. We're going to be doing Steelers OTAs winners and losers later in the week, so make sure you guys click that subscribe button for all the latest updates surrounding the black and gold. First segment in the books here, Mr. Coop. I've got a Venmo. All right, I will send that your way.
We're back.
Coop's back. There we go.
Cool.
It's a Venmo. So, Coop, I want to get your take on the wide receiver position right here. We do have a live poll going on between Amari Cooper, Gabe Davis, and Keenan Allen. Which free agent wide receiver would you prefer? Right now, Amari Cooper is leading the pack with 44% of the vote, but Gabe Davis is second and shortly behind with 35, Keenan Allen with 22. What do you think?
Davis is probably the cheapest option, right?
Davis is definitely the cheapest, but Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen,
it wouldn't be that much.
It wouldn't be that much more, and it's not like that much riskier because you'd probably just have to sign them to a 1-year deal.
Keenan plays pretty much the slot exclusively now.
Mm-hmm. Well, no. He's played 300 outside snaps in the last 2 seasons.
Okay.
So to compare that, he's had about 400 in the slot.
Right.
So
he's
about 60-40. So he can play outside. He's better in the slot, but
Cooper's probably the best player out of those 3.
Yeah, my reasoning for Cooper is even though, he didn't put up monster numbers in Buffalo, there's other players that really stepped up for that Buffalo team. Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel at times.
Oh, yeah.
You had Keon Coleman. I think that, relative to the expectations, Cooper disappointed there in Buffalo, but his numbers and his efficiency went up dramatically when he went to Buffalo, all right? Like, Over 14 yards per reception in Buffalo, over 9 yards per target in Buffalo. His catch percentage compared to Cleveland was night and day. It was back to over 60%. After I think it dropped below 40% in Cleveland to start the season. He had a real bad drop issue, and he's never really been the best ball skills type of guy. He's always been more of a route runner type. But, I've been watching a lot of Amari Cooper film, Coop, ever since we traded George away. And I think he's still got it, man. Like, I don't think he's, like, as good as he was. I'm not saying he's a number one level receiver anymore. But, like, as a wide receiver, too, and as a route running specialist, he could absolutely still do that.
Him and Aaron Rodgers would get along well.
I think so, too.
If you know what I mean.
What do you mean?
If you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean. Do they do ayahuasca? Oh, no way. Coop's an idiot, man. Let me tell you.
Oh, Steelers, man, that's good stuff.
Steelers dad with a 10. Appreciate you. Says, please have some good news for me. Please tell me Aaron Rodgers drama ends this week. I think it's going to be most likely either this week or next week. All right? Because
we'll see.
And, I think that we're going to talk about this in the second segment, Steelers Dad, so I don't want to give away too much, but I do think there's a chance that we see Aaron Rodgers make his decision on the Pat McAfee show this week. Our donation menu today, guys, we are giving away one of these Steelers Talk hats. We give one away on every single live show. We have to make $50 on the stream, though, in order to give one away. Right now, we're just at $35, so we're $15 away from locking in the raffle. $10 gets you 3 raffle tickets. $20 gets you 10 tickets plus your name on the gong. James, I believe I already have your name on there. Then $50 will bang for you. And if you don't want to enter the raffle, you just want to purchase one of these bad boys, a $50 super chat or Venmo will get you one of these Steelers Talk hats. Then $250 total. If we can get there for the 4th straight show, we will hit the gong on today's program. Would really like to do that, guys. So if you guys want to get in on the action, you want to get in on the raffles and on the fun today, feel free. But without further ado, quarterback rumors are now on the block here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's get into it right now. Today on Steelers Talk, we're going to be breaking down the latest quarterback rumors surrounding the black and gold. First up, of course, Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to let you guys know why I think Aaron Rodgers could sign shortly after Steelers' mandatory minicamp and the reasoning for that. Then we'll get into Kirk Cousins and why a trade for Cousins is more likely now than it was even just last week. Then we'll get into who Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette says that he's been told the plan B is going to be for the Pittsburgh Steelers if Aaron Rodgers decides to flake on them. Before we get into today's QB rumors for the Pittsburgh Steelers, click that subscribe button because we got you covered with daily Steelers videos for free on this channel. Breaking news coverage. So if whenever Aaron Rodgers makes his decision on the season, we will be going live for that. Also, if the Steelers add an offensive piece this offseason like they claim they want to, we will also go live for that. Speaking of live shows, we go live every Monday and every Thursday. We do our Madden Simulated season, which is a lot of fun as well. It's all 100% free to join our family here, to guys of over 85,000 Yinzers that have already clicked that subscribe button. So be the next one right now and join the Steelers Talk family today. So here we are, second week of Steelers OTAs, folks, and Aaron Rodgers has still not signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And obviously this is frustrating, and obviously this is something that we would prefer, a new quarterback particularly, to be with his teammates and to start building that chemistry in the Steelers building, all of that stuff. But Aaron Rodgers has always been somebody that has just had a disdain for early offseason kind of workouts and voluntary stuff, and he doesn't like it when fans and the media criticize him for not going to them. So according to him, from his perspective, hey, I'm not signed to a contract, so you can't get mad at me for not going. But it does sound like that the Pittsburgh Steelers do kind of want and almost expect him to be there for mandatory minicamp, which begins next week, starting on June 10th, and it goes until June 12th. Now, you could ask yourself right now, why would Rodgers attend minicamp? If he doesn't want to attend OTAs, why would he attend minicamp when it's pretty much the same exact thing? Well, I think there's 2 reasons, specifically why the Steelers would want Rodgers at mandatory minicamp. The first one being, just get the circus out of the way, all right? If he signs between mandatory minicamp and training camp, then the entire NFL media will descend on Latrobe, and it's going to be a huge deal to watch him in his first practice with the Pittsburgh Steelers. If he's practicing with a helmet on at mandatory minicamp when there's a lot less stuff going on at practice, let's be frank, that is definitely something that I would want to get out of the way as soon as possible so that the distraction can go away as soon as possible. The other reason, if we can get back to that previous graphic there, Coop, is that every other player on the Steelers roster is expected to attend mandatory minicamp. And if you're looking for a point in the offseason where players are going to start, a little bit of resentment's going to start creeping into their minds that Rodgers isn't attending, mandatory minicamp might be that point where that resentment starts to kick in. Now, mandatory minicamp does start next week, Tuesday, June 10th, and it goes until that Thursday, June 12th. So if he's not there and he's not signed by then, that is going to be something that could create some potential problems for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I will say this. If he announces this week before mandatory minicamp and he ends up, attending, I would say look out for Thursday or Friday this week where he will make an appearance on the Pat McAfee show where he announced he wanted to go to the Jets and officially announced he will be signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So keep your eye out for Thursday and Friday. We certainly will here at Steelers Talk. But I could also see him signing after mandatory minicamp. All right, if he's not going to be there for the first couple sets of OTAs, I could certainly see it being at least a possibility that Rodgers doesn't show up to mandatory minicamp. Now, from his perspective, the reason why he might want to just, forego these offseason activities altogether is because, A, he can't be fined if he's not on the team. He was fined last year by the New York Jets for not showing up to mandatory minicamp because he took a trip to Egypt. But also, he feels like he can, organize a throwing session at UCLA or something like he did at with DK Metcalf earlier in the offseason. Who knows? There might have been more of those throwing sessions this offseason as well that we don't know about. But Rodgers probably feels, hey, I probably already have Arthur Smith's playbook. I already have the Steelers playbook. I already know all the plays, all that different stuff. I just want to do things on my own terms. I want to get my guys out to California. I want to go to UCLA with Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson, of course, DK Metcalf, Pat Freiermuth, all those guys, and I want to build that chemistry there on my terms instead of having to go all the way to Pittsburgh to start building up this chemistry, during OTAs and during mandatory minicamp. And that could absolutely work, and that chemistry can absolutely be built in that time between mandatory minicamp and training camp if that's what Aaron Rodgers wants to do and wants to spend his July with. Now, in terms of when to start getting nervous that Aaron Rodgers won't sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would say probably a week after minicamp because there's nothing going on in between minicamp and training camp for the Pittsburgh Steelers, at least not in an official team capacity, right? So there's really no reason not to sign shortly after minicamp if you truly plan to be there when this team eventually starts training camp at the end of July. So if we get past a week and Aaron Rodgers still hasn't signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to really start wondering if Rodgers even plans on playing football in 2025. So chime in for me down there in the comment section. When will Aaron Rodgers sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Type B if you think he's going to sign before mandatory minicamp begins. Type A if you think he's going to sign after mandatory minicamp begins. Or type N if you think he's never going to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Prize Picks. And while I'm telling you about Prize Picks today, let me know when you think the four-time NFL MVP is going to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor today at Prize Picks, which is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cold, hard cash all on your phone. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more than or less than at least two-player stat projections for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect, and you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. This year's basketball playoffs are headed towards crowning a first-time champ in more than 50 years. Don't miss your last chance to cash in on history with Prize Picks today. Pick more than or less than on a player's stats like points, rebounds, assists, and more for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Then they also have their Taco Tuesday promotion every single Tuesday, where Prize Picks discounts select player projections on the board, usually by 15% to 25%. You guys can see here our projection for Thursday night's game between the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're taking the more on rebounds for Miles Turner, the less on points for Tyrese Halliburton, and more for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the league's MVP. So download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. So now that we are past June 1st, it is now more likely that the Atlanta Falcons will be open to trading quarterback Kirk Cousins to the Pittsburgh Steelers, plain and simply because they can save money against their cap for the 2025 season. If they would have traded Kirk before that June 1st kind of deadline there, they would have had to take on $37.5 million in dead cap for the 2025 campaign. But now that we are past that point, I'm recording this on June 3rd. This is probably going to go out on June 4th. They can save $12.5 million if they trade him away now. So it always made sense for the Falcons to wait past June 1st to trade Kirk Cousins to an NFL team, and that's what they were always going to do at that point. But what I will say right now when it comes to Kirk Cousins, guys, is that he is not going to be cheap for the Pittsburgh Steelers to acquire. Because he's got so much guaranteed money left on his deal that the Atlanta Falcons are already on the hook for. It's either the Steelers are going to have to give the Atlanta Falcons some relief on that dead cap or on that guaranteed money, or they're going to have to give up a pretty premium draft asset to go get Kirk Cousins and make him their next starting quarterback. And, there's certain reasons why you would want Kirk. He's a good fit for the offense. I think that he could operate the offense pretty efficiently, honestly, with the play-action passing game. He's been one of the best play-action passers in football for a long time, but he also has 3 years left on his deal. And if you're taking on guaranteed money, you're making a pretty hefty investment in somebody that definitely showed signs of a regression with the Atlanta Falcons last year. So I'm not sure, honestly, if that's a fantastic option for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'd much rather get Aaron Rodgers because I think he's a better player and he'd be far cheaper than acquiring Kirk Cousins. But if you want to win now, Kirk is probably your best option outside of Aaron Rodgers on the open market. But Jerry Dulac from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette says that Pittsburgh will sign a veteran quarterback to back up Mason Rudolph if they miss out on Aaron Rodgers. Now, keep in mind, Jerry Dulac's always wrong, all right? I mean, it's comical. I mean, remember, 100% chance George Pickens is going to be on the team, gets traded to Dallas. 100% chance Deontay Johnson's on the roster next season, gets traded a week later to Carolina. I mean, he says Steelers are going to bring back Najee Harris this year. Guess what? They didn't even think about it. This guy is wrong and wrong and wrong time and time and time again. Said that they were going to bring back either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. Guess what? Was wrong on that again. I mean, this guy has a track record of losing like you just cannot believe, but if this is true, there are some veteran backup options that the Steelers can potentially look at. Carson Wentz has been a backup in this league for a little while. He was a former starter. He's got a big arm. He's a little bit mobile. I think that Carson Wentz as a backup to Mason Rudolph would be, a decent option if you're looking for a backup type. Teddy Bridgewater, former starter in the league, former high school coach. He went and won a state championship as a high school coach, then came back to play for the Lions last year. And then Ryan Tannehill took a meeting with the Minnesota Vikings earlier this offseason, could be looking to kind of take on a backup role, and he's been very successful in this Arthur Smith offense before, and he's been very successful as going into the season as a backup and potentially replacing a future starter. So I do think that those are probably the three guys they would look at if Dulac's report is correct, and that is a big if. But let me know down there in the comments section. Pick a backup quarterback if that's what the Steelers are going to do. Type CW for Carson Wentz, RT for Ryan Tannehill, TB for Teddy Bridgewater, or if you want to go out and get a different quarterback on the open market, type who down there in the comments section. So we'll finish up today's edition of QB Rumors here with some kind words from Russell Wilson, specifically directed towards the Steelers, the city of Pittsburgh, and his former head coach, Mike Tomlin. When it comes to the Steelers, this is what Russell Wilson had to say. Pittsburgh was a good place for me, man. It really helped rejuvenate me in every way just because of the locker room there. It was cool to be around that, the history and the experience of Pittsburgh. And then when talking about Mike Tomlin, he had some very glowing things to say about Coach T. He said, I think there's three things about Mike Tomlin that's special. His obsession, his work ethic. He's there early, 4:30 in the morning, watching the film himself. Like, head coaches just don't do that. He's in his little cave, like doing his own thing. The second thing is the ability to connect to players is remarkable. His ability to have connectivity, his ability to relate to the black kid, to the white kid, to the guy that's been successful, to the guy that's just starting. To find that motivation and turn that up, and also be able to neutralize it and turn it down too. Just to be able to connect in the moment, in each moment throughout the game. The thing that's really unique about Tomlin is the ability to embrace the noise, the ability to embrace the obstacles and all that. He just stares it right in the face, and he doesn't run from it. So Russell Wilson obviously has been around the block. He's played for some really impressive head coaches, Sean Payton, of course, Pete Carroll, Nathaniel Hackett, maybe not. But he's also seen what bad coaching looks like, and he called Mike Tomlin one of the greatest coaches in the history of the sport. And, I think that, at the end of the day, Russell Wilson, it didn't work out here in Pittsburgh. I wish they would have, the team would have fulfilled their promise to him that they were going to give him a proper supporting cast. They didn't do that. They didn't give him a run game. They didn't give him an O-line. They didn't give him a good wide receiver room. And that's unfortunate because I think if he would have got those things, he'd be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. But at the end of the day, he's a good person, and he was a good ambassador for this team for the short time that he was here. And I do wish him the best of luck there with the New York Football Giants. And good Lord, man, if Rodgers ends up flaking on the Pittsburgh Steelers and we're stuck overpaying for Kirk Cousins or bringing in Carson Wentz and starting Mason Rudolph, I think we're going to miss the hell out of Russell Wilson this year if that ends up being the case. So let me know down there in the comments section, does Mike Tomlin deserve to go to the Hall of Fame? Just one Super Bowl, but he's obviously got one of the best all-time regular season records in NFL history. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Yes or no, does Coach T belong in Canton? That'll be it for today's show, guys. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We got more Steelers content coming for you guys throughout the week and potentially even later today. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until next time, guys, here we go, Steelers. All right, 2 segments down here, Coop. 2 more to go. Next up, Arthur Smith's potentially genius strategy for building up the Steelers offense here, Coop. And if it ends up hitting, I think there's a chance that the Steelers offense could be really freaking good this year.
Genius, you say?
Could be genius. We'll see.
I don't know if I would classify Arthur Smith as a genius. But
well, a lot of people did, and that's why he got hired in Atlanta.
He shouldn't even be working. He should just be chilling on some island.
Well, that's one of the things Aaron Rodgers likes about him. He wants to work. Is that he could absolutely just sip Mai Tais on a fucking beach somewhere as the son of a big exec.
That's what I'd be doing.
But instead, he's a grinder, and that's what Aaron Rodgers, he wants to be there. He wants to work, and that's something you got to respect about Arthur Smith.
No doubt.
So, I'm not saying Arthur was perfect last year by any stretch of the imagination, but you got to respect the grind.
I can say this: he was unequivocally better than Matt Canada.
Yes, and he was an improvement from Matt Canada. So at least there's that.
I would be an improvement on Matt Canada, to be fair, but
yes, you would. All right, so we do have a donation menu today, guys. We are giving away a Steelers Talk hat. $50. You can just buy it straight up, but if you don't have $50 to spend on a hat, I know that's a lot of money. You guys can send in $5 for a raffle ticket, $10 for 3 raffle tickets, or $20 to get 10 tickets, plus get your name on the Steelers Talk gong. If we can get to $250 total today, we'll hit the gong for the 4th live show in a row. And if you guys want to double your raffle tickets, you can go to Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal. All this information is also in the description of today's live show in case you ever want to send in
Or you can ask Cassie.
Or you can ask Cassie. But also, we're $15 away from even doing the raffle today, so we need to get $15 more of some sort in order to lock in that raffle. But we still got one more segment to go here before we get into the Madden Sim, Steelers versus Browns. So without further ado, I'm not going to make you guys wait any longer. Let's get into our 3rd segment right here on Steelers Talk Live. Arthur Smith has a plan for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense to combat the modern NFL defense, and it could be a genius strategy that catapults the Pittsburgh Steelers for the 2025 season on the offensive side of the ball. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Today we're going to be talking about Arthur Smith and his philosophy as the Steelers offensive coordinator and why this year might be finally the year the Steelers offense turns it around. But first, get in the comment section and let me know, what's your confidence level in Arthur Smith as this team's offensive coordinator? I thought he had an okay first season here in Pittsburgh, but he definitely did a lot of things that he wasn't comfortable doing because of some specific players on this team. We'll talk about that on today's show. But let me know what you guys think. Your confidence level in Art down there in the comment section on a scale of 1, meaning no confidence at all, to 10, meaning absolute confidence Arthur Smith is the guy. All right, so first, let's break down what the NFL defense looks like from a modern perspective and what modern NFL defensive coordinators are doing to combat NFL offenses, because obviously the new revolution in the NFL offense has been passing, it's been speed, it's been 11 personnel, which means 3 wide receivers. And to combat that, the NFL defense has adjusted to also get more speed on the field. They are majority nickel now in the NFL. Even the Steelers, who like to go to their base formations, run majority nickel, which means 4 defensive linemen. Traditionally, 2 linebackers and then 5 DBs. And then the defensive fronts are 4 twos, which means 4 down linemen, and then 2 linebackers. They sometimes bring in another safety and or slot corner into the box, though. And then you have lots of 2 high safety shells. That means 2 safeties are not in the box. So they are out deep, and depending on the coverage, it depends on how far down the field they are. But lots of defenses base out of 2 high safety shells now. Also, lots of man match coverages to be able to account for any route combinations the offense throws at them, whether that's cover 3 match, whether that's cover 4 quarters, cover 4 palms, cover 6. There's a lot of different things that you can do. All the Saban type of stuff that teams are running nowadays with all the match coverages and the stubbies and all this different stuff that they run. And then the post-snap coverage rotations. This is something that we're seeing a lot from Mike McDonald and his disciples, is the post-snap rotations, where you're showing one thing and you're disguising it pre-snap, and then you rotate to something else after the snap to confuse opposing quarterbacks. And then all the simulated and exotic pressures that we're seeing around the NFL, where they're putting up a lot of people at the line of scrimmage and they're finding creative ways to scheme people open without having to rush extra rushers. So that's the modern NFL defense. It's tough to pass against, man. It really is. It really is built to defend the NFL passing game, which means that the run game is making a big comeback in the National Football League, and that was spearheaded by Eagles running back last year, Saquon Barkley, who broke records last year. He had more scrimmage yards than any running back in NFL history last year, including playoffs. But, I think that what this kind of comes down to is if you're facing lighter defenses with more defensive backs and more speed and less mass on the field, that means that the run game can dominate, and that means the run game can do what it needs to do to be a success at the NFL level. And do the things that we've seen the best offenses in the world do over the last several years, where really the best offenses are the ones that can run the football effectively. Now, stay with me here, okay? So you got to follow me here. So 8 of the 10 best offenses in the league last year, okay? So top 10 offenses according to expected points added. That's EPA. That's an advanced sabermetric. We're also in the top 10 in rushing EPA. So 8 of the 10 best offenses in football were also top 10 in rushing offense in terms of the EPA and the value created by the run game. So you take a look at those 8 offenses, most of them were in the playoffs, and most of them are probably the ones that you consider the best offenses in the National Football League. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, the Buffalo Bills, the teams that are consistently at the top, the Detroit Lions, the Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury and that bunch, Liam Cohen and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all right, and of course Matt LaFleur and the Green Bay Packers. They do a great job there in Green Bay, and the reason why they do such a good job is because they establish the run. And then also Arizona Cardinals, James Conner, one of the best running backs in football. Most of these teams have a very good offensive front and a very good running back, and they prioritize the run game, which is really starting to become the new thing in the National Football League. And then the other 2 teams that were top 10 in EPA last year, the Bengals and the Chiefs, have elite quarterbacks, all right? They got Patrick Mahomes and Joe frickin' Burrow, okay? So unless you have an elite quarterback, you cannot escape in the National Football League, and you cannot be a top-flight offense without being able to run the football effectively, okay? So that is something that Arthur Smith, the Steelers offensive coordinator, has identified, and he wants to counter those lighter defenses with more speed on the field and all the nickel that we're seeing in the league today with an offense that is heavier, all right, more tight ends, more mass, and is centered around a bruising run game that can run the football at will. Very similar to what the Philadelphia Eagles run and what the Baltimore Ravens run there in Baltimore. And Art did try, he at least tried to implement that run-heavy approach here in Pittsburgh last year. Now, I would argue that his personnel didn't exactly match this type of system, which is why you didn't really see the success that Art probably wanted last year. But you take a look at the percentage of snaps last year for the Steelers offense in 12 and 13 personnel. So that's 2 and 3 tight ends on the field at any given time. They went from 24% in 2023 under Matt Canada and kind of the hodgepodge of interims that they had to 43%, a 19-point increase in 2024. So obviously, Arthur Smith wants to live in multiple tight end sets. He wants to get heavier, and he wants to punish defenses for living in nickel and in these lighter fronts. Okay, but you take a look last year. They definitely tried. They were 6th in the league in rushing attempts per game. Their rushing percentage was, I believe, 4th in the league, so even higher than that. But their yards per attempt and their efficiency was 25th. Their EPA was 24th, and then their success rate was 28th. So Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, that combination of running backs and offensive line just wasn't getting the job done last year. And that's what went wrong last year, guys. You didn't have enough good run blockers in this offense last year that didn't really do enough to do their job and create running lanes for their running backs. And then, honestly, guys, I just don't think Najee Harris was a fit for this style of offense. And honestly, I'm not sure if he's a number 1 running back. I just don't. I think that he is somebody that's a decent starter and, somebody that can certainly be, a decent part of a rotation at the running back position in the league as a power back. But as a number 1 true workhorse, what the Steelers drafted him to be as a first-round pick, he just never really materialized as that. And, what he does worst, arguably, is outside zone, and that's what Arthur Smith wants to run here in Pittsburgh. He wants to get, horizontal, and then he wants his running back to identify a cutback lane, get vertical, and then explode through that hole. Pause. And, Najee Harris just didn't really do that. He didn't have great vision. He didn't have great, ability to put his foot in the ground and, truly accelerate and get to that long speed. And his long speed wasn't fantastic. So right now, I think the Steelers finally have their guy to kind of fill that role. They tried, and they really hope that Najee Harris was going to be that guy. I think Caleb Johnson out of Iowa is going to be everything they thought Najee Harris was going to be, but only actually capitalize on it. He was arguably the best outside zone runner in all of college football last year. He's got excellent vision, doesn't fumble the football ever. I think he's going to be a great addition to Arthur Smith's offense, and he might be the most valuable offensive player on the Steelers offense this year, if I'm being honest. We did a whole video on Caleb Johnson and why I think he's a dark horse to win Offensive Rookie of the Year in the NFL this year. I'll put the link to that one in the comments and description and put the chip in the top right if you want to check that out. Also, I think that Pittsburgh expects a jump from their offensive line this year. So last year, obviously, the offensive line wasn't good enough. And, you might be saying, oh, but Jack, they didn't really make a whole lot of additions to this offensive line this year. Why do you think it's going to be better? Well, the answer to that question is you didn't really have Troy Fautanu last year, who is going to be coming back healthy and playing as right tackle. And then Broderick Jones is going to be, I think, better than Dan Moore Jr. ever was here in Pittsburgh as this team's starting left tackle. He's more comfortable on that side. He still has that first-round pedigree. If he can develop, and like he says, he's more comfortable on the left side, I think there's reason to believe he could get better. And Mason McCormick heading into his second year, and after having a full offseason working out on the right side, as opposed to coming in as a rookie and having to change from the left side to the right side, it was a really difficult time for Mason McCormick last year. But I think after a full offseason, he certainly has the physical pedigree to be a hit at right guard. And I'm excited for this young offensive line heading into the year. But, Jack, you have to be able to pass. You can't just run the football. It doesn't matter if you got 2 really good running backs. It doesn't matter if this young offensive line has a chance to get better this year. You still got to pass the football, and I completely agree with you guys, which is why in a second I'm going to let you guys know Arthur Smith's solution to fix the pass game here in Pittsburgh. But before we get into that, let me know, true or false, Pittsburgh will have a top 10 run game in 2025. Give me a T for true or type F for false. I think with Caleb Johnson and Jalen Warren plus an improved offensive line, I think there's a good chance that this team could potentially get there, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. T for true or F for false. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. In just a second here, I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Prize Picks, and while I'm talking about Prize Picks, let me know if this statement is true or false. And with that, let's get into our sponsor read today, which, of course, our presenting sponsor is Prize Picks, which is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cold, hard cash all on your phone for free today. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more than or less than on at least 2 player stat projections for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks, and PrizePicks puts their members first, guys, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. PrizePicks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect, and you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. This year's basketball playoffs are headed towards crowning a first-time champion in more than 50 years. Don't miss your last chance to cash in on history with PrizePicks today. Pick more than or less than on player stats like points, rebounds, assists, and more for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. They also have their Taco Tuesday promotion every single Tuesday. PrizePicks discounts select player projections on the board, usually by 15% to 25%. You guys can take a look here at an NBA Finals projection that we have. We're going to take the more on rebounds for Miles Turner, the less on Tyrese Halliburton for points, and the more on free throws attempted for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You guys can get your PrizePicks projections in for basketball's championship series today by downloading the app and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup on the PrizePicks app today. PrizePicks, run your game. So when it comes to the passing game, the way that the Arthur Smith kind of envisions the pass game working for the Pittsburgh Steelers is obviously the foundation is going to be that run game to beat those kind of lighter, modern NFL defenses. But then to have the play action and deep shot game kind of open things up and keep things open for the Steelers run game and keep NFL defenses honest on early downs. They want to be able to completely just destroy an NFL defense. If they load up the box, if they go single high, if they try to go man coverage, they want to have deep threats that can outrun the secondary and man coverage down the field, especially on play action, in order to beat these guys and keep these defenses honest. And Tomlin's special ingredient that he's bringing into all this is ball protection. He wants a quarterback that is supremely talented at knowing how to not throw interceptions and not fumble the football and do all those things that help the Pittsburgh Steelers consistently win the turnover battle, which is one of the reasons why they're so consistent in the regular season, is because their defense takes the football away consistently and their offense consistently protects the football. You can take a look at the last couple of quarterbacks since they hired Arthur Smith. They brought in Russell Wilson last year, who ended up having the third best turnover-worthy play percentage of just 1.7 last year. And then Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback that they are targeting this year, was also top 5 with just 1.8. And by the way, has the best touchdown to interception ratio in the history of the National Football League and has the best interception percentage in the history of the National Football League. So obviously ball protection, not turning the football over, is a premium for head coach Mike Tomlin and, of course, offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. And the reality of the situation here, guys, is because this run game is going to be so run heavy, the offense isn't going to ask too much of a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers if he signs on, which might be one of the reasons why he feels Pittsburgh is a good destination, because in New York, he had to pass the ball like 50 times a game because even with Breece Hall, they had no run game, all right, because they couldn't scheme anybody open and nobody on the offensive line knew what to do. But here in Pittsburgh, things could be different. And listen, man, these are the 4 things that the Steelers are asking Rodgers to do. Take care of the football, get the ball out fast. It's something Russell Wilson, Justin Fields never did. Same thing with limit sacks. And then make a big throw when it's needed. All right, from time to time, be able to put the team on your back on a 3rd and long, on a clutch drive, etc., and be able to make those big throws from time to time. Well, let's take a look at these one at a time. Can he take care of the football? Well, he was top 5 in turnover-worthy play percentage in 2024. And he's arguably been he's probably been the best ball protector in league history at the position. Well, can he get the ball out fast? Last year, he was top 6 in time to throw, average at just 2.69 seconds. So yes, he does get the ball out fast. He's also one of the most intelligent quarterbacks in league history. He knows exactly where he's going with the football before the play even starts. Can he limit sacks? He had a lower sack percentage than both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields last year. And because he gets the ball out fast, he does take a lower number of sacks. So that is certainly something to keep in mind. Plus, he has legendary pocket presence, which also helps limit sacks. Then, can he make a big throw when it's needed? Well, last year, he was, about league average in big-time throw percentage. He still has some really, really good arm talent. He still has that quick release, that ability to throw the ball down the field with touch and accuracy. And I think that is certainly something that can help Rodgers make that big throw when the Steelers need it and kind of elevate the ceiling of the Steelers offense. And by the way, guys, I think Mason Rudolph could adequately fill this role. Like if Caleb Johnson and Jalen Warren do a really good job getting the run game going, if this offensive line can protect the quarterback and create run lanes for the running back, and the defense here in Pittsburgh is as good as it's been over the last several seasons, yeah, Mason Rudolph won 3 straight games to finish out the 2023 regular season. He can absolutely get this team to like maybe 8 or 9, maybe 10 wins and get this team in playoff contention this year. But I think that's probably where you're capped. If you make the playoffs, you're almost certainly going to be outed in the first round just because the other quarterback on the other sideline is just going to be way more talented than Mason Rudolph. And that's just the reality of the NFL. And I think that kind of the value of adding Aaron Rodgers is he can fill the role that they want out of the quarterback in this offense so perfectly, but he can also elevate the ceiling of the offense and help this team. If they can win 10, 11, 12 games with Rodgers, make the playoffs, I think they have a much better chance of winning a playoff game with Rodgers in that instance than Mason Rudolph. And that's exactly what the Steelers are trying to do at this point in time with Cam Hayward just 2 years away from retirement. Plus, I think that, when it comes to the passing game, it's going to be improved this year because they're going to have a better wide receiver room. I think right now the wide receiver room is better than it was last year, and they still have to add another person to this group. The Steelers, it's been well reported, are looking to add another receiver to this group right here. And DK Metcalf, Robert Woods, Calvin Austin III, and Roman Wilson, in my opinion, is already better than George Pickens, Calvin Austin III, Van Jefferson, Mike Williams. Jefferson and Williams really didn't give you anything there. And then you add one of these receivers on the screen right now, or maybe somebody else like a John Mechie, and I think that you could be looking at a much improved wide receiver room. And like we said, this is going to be a run-heavy offense, so you don't need to have an elite wide receiver room to have a successful offense and get this team in position to have success even in the NFL playoffs. So my take on the Steelers offense this year is that I am optimistic. Now, am I guaranteeing that the offensive line is going to develop? No. Am I guaranteeing that Caleb Johnson's going to hit the ground running in year 1? No. Am I going to guarantee that Rodgers is any good if he ends up signing? No. But I do think that I see the vision that Arthur Smith is putting together here. And based on where NFL defenses are going, I think if the Steelers can hit, they absolutely have a chance to be on the forefront of the next kind of generation of offense in the National Football League. And I'm very excited to see if they can pull it off. So that'll be it for today's show, guys. Type real one down there in the comments section if you made it to the end of today's Steelers Talk video. You guys are what make this channel run, and you guys are the absolute best. And if you made it to the end of the video today, I want to give you some love down there in the comments section. So type those real ones. Click that subscribe button if you made it to the end of today's show. If you love nerdy Steelers videos like this one, we have them just about every single day on this channel for free. So click that subscribe button to join the Steelers Talk family today. All right, our live segments are done here, Coop. Now we have Madden coming up in just a few moments. And, some pretty interesting stuff talked about in that segment there, Coop. I think, people talk about the quarterback situation. They talk about the receiver situation here in Pittsburgh. And I'm not saying those things are not important things to figure out. But, the main priority for the Steelers this offseason was to fix the run game because that's what they want their offense to run through. And I think they have a pretty darn good chance of having a pretty darn good rushing offense this year.
You run the ball in the NFL, you win games. I think it's pretty much that simple.
Yep. Well, you run the ball effectively.
Exactly.
Steelers ran it a lot last year, just not effectively.
Yeah. They have the ingredients to have a good run game this year. I feel very confident that they're going to get it done.
So, but you're not confident in the offensive line.
I'm not confident in the offensive line, but I'm confident in Caleb Johnson.
So if they stink up front, is Caleb going to have any opportunities?
He'll be able to do, I think, a little more than Najee would.
Okay. Well, you think the offensive line will be better or worse than last year?
Maybe slightly better. I'm still not sure it's good enough.
Yeah, if it's going to be like way better, Broderick is going to have to be really good. He's going to have to take a big step for it to be way better.
We'll see.
And Fautano, I guarantee you, if he's healthy, he is a huge improvement at right tackle compared to what Broderick brought you at right tackle. He's just not a right tackle.
Not at all.
But you're hoping Broderick is a left tackle and that he does a good job on that side. He is more comfortable on that side, so that's kind of the hope. And he does have first-round pedigree. from a physical standpoint. So let's hope Broderick Jones develops. I have also pretty good feelings about Mason McCormick, and I'm looking forward to see what he can do. And then I do think the passing offense will be better. And it's like this team won 10 games last year, and they were on the doorstep of winning a division title last year with a bad run game, with a worse quarterback, with a worse wide receiver room. Like if they can make these kind of small improvements, they can absolutely win a playoff game this year, in my opinion. We're about to start our Week 6 Madden Simulation here on Steelers Talk. Steelers are 2-2 at this point in time. We're going live every Monday and Thursday. You might be saying to yourself, Jack, but it's Tuesday. It's because I wasn't here yesterday. But
get over it.
Most days, most weeks, Mondays and Thursdays, we go live. And we're going to be doing a full season here. Aaron Rodgers hasn't signed, so we can't put him on the team. So Coop, well, I guess we'll see if Coop started Mason Rudolph after a tough performance in Dublin in Week 4. But they came away with the victory.
They won.
So do they want to bench somebody that just ended up winning a football game and had some nice throws down the stretch? I guess we're going to see here. But the 2-2 Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the white dog turds here in the Cleveland Browns.
Had to give them the white dog turds.
Had to give them the white dog turd jerseys, man. But
who's it going to be?
I see Will Howard in there.
There's Rudy.
And now I see Rudy leading them out of the tunnel. It might be Rudy this week.
This is why I started the stream later, so you have to leave it up to interpretation.
Let me know in the chat who wins, Steelers or Browns. Type Steelers or Browns in the chat.
Here we go, Steelers.
Here we go. Bobby Tree's back there to take the kick.
It's an interesting choice from Danny.
I guess so. So here we go. Steelers trying to get to 3-2 with a win over the Brownies, and we are away from Acrisure here in Week 6. Fielded from the 6, it is Cordero Patterson, who has a decent return, gets it to the 28-yard line. And here comes Mason Rudolph.
By the way, he's still on the team.
Who?
Isn't Cordero still on the team?
Yeah, Cordero's still on the team.
He sucks.
He did get a little chubby last year. and he dealt with injuries. But Mason Rudolph takes the field here after winning his lone start of the season so far against the New York Jets, or against the Minnesota Vikings, I should say, in Dublin last week. Now here's a handoff. Seumalo gets caught, but now Jaylen Warren breaks a couple tackles and gets the 5-yard gain. I will say, Coop, Jaylen Warren's had a really good season to start.
He has.
This Madden simulated season. He's been pretty darn good.
He's been fantastic. I would like to see some more Caleb Johnson.
Now, we've seen throughout this simulated season that we've seen the Steelers really go pass happy despite their terrible quarterbacks. But they handed off to Warren here, and he's going to come close to first down yardage. He gets it. First down Steelers. Let's go. By the way, where's my hat? It's over here. We are giving away a Steelers Talk hat if we can get $15 more in donations today. Also, if you just want to purchase a hat, a $50 donation gets you a hat. Here we go, first down handoff. Warren, once again, bouncing off some guys, but he gets 3 yards on the first down carry. I like the run-first approach.
This is what you were just talking about.
This is what I'm talking about, only with Caleb Johnson, not Jaylen Warren. But Warren's a good back too, man. You guys know how much I love me some J-Dub. Second down and 7. They go empty here. Bunch formation out to the right for Rudolph. Going to take the snap. He's looking. He's going to throw short. Oh, my goodness. He dirted a 3-yard dig. Or not dig, a hitch. How do you dirt a hitch in Madden? I think you chose wrong, Coop. Will Howard would have made that throw.
We'll see.
Hell, Cassie's sister, who just graduated high school, could make that throw.
What are you trying to say?
Hell, Cassie's grandmother, who's like 90, could have made that throw.
What
Shotgun.
Are you trying to say?
Rudolph looking, throwing, intercepted, threw it right to him. What a terrible throw by Mason Rudolph. And there he goes. Is that Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah?
He came back?
I guess JOK is no longer out for the season because he picks off Mason Rudolph. F Coop in the chat for not taking JOK out of the rosters.
That's that F Chugs for that.
I mean, look at this throw. I mean, he's right there. What are you looking at?
What's he doing?
Threw it right in the chest of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and now here comes Shadur Sanders.
Kenny Pickett was injured.
Kenny Pickett, I guess, was injured, according to Coop. So Shadur Sanders making his first NFL start against the team that had multiple chances to take him and didn't.
He's a 72 overall.
The 72 overall, better than any of the quarterbacks on the Steelers roster.
Yep.
Under center here, condensed formation for Cleveland. They start at the Steelers' 30.5-yard line. They hand it off, and there's T.J. Watt.
Matt Canada special.
A loss of 1 on the jet sweep. T.J. Watt getting the TFL. Cassie says, my grandparents are still in their 70s. Thank you, Jack. I don't know. Late 70s. Shotgun. It's going to be a quick wide receiver screen. Gain of 5. They're still great people. They're just old.
You're going to hear about that.
That's okay. Home. It's okay to be old. My grandmother's old. It's okay. She's in her 70s. Miss Diane. She's old.
I haven't seen her in the chat lately.
She'll be back for the season.
Okay.
3rd down and 6. Under center. Got to get off the field here. 5-step drop for Shedeur. Now he's going to throw. Complete. Who is that? Darius Slay completely over-pursued the Cleveland receiver. 1st down, Cleveland. Had a chance to get him off the field.
Who's Tillman? Cedric Tillman?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Tillman, probably. Shotgun here. Single high safety for Pittsburgh. Shedeur takes the snap. He's got time. He's going to throw. Jerry Jeudy caught for gain of 5. Down to the 7-yard line. The Steelers lose this. In the actual Steelers schedule, this is like the most secure win that there is. If there ever is a secure win on the schedule, this is the game. The Steelers better win in their real schedule. Handoff here. Judkins, the rookie out of Ohio State, gets 1 yard. Patrick Queen brings him down for the tackle. The reason why this feels almost like a for sure win for Pittsburgh is because Cleveland stinks, A. B, the Steelers are coming off a bye. Mike Tomlin is excellent coming off a bye. And C, they're home.
In their home.
3rd down and 4, shotgun. Shedeur takes the snap. Can he convert on 3rd again? He's got plenty of time in the pocket. Here comes Sawyer. He throws in the back of the end zone. Incomplete. They're going to have to kick a field goal. Good job on the backside coverage for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now Shedeur Sanders is yelling at one of his teammates. Nothing new there. I remember watching Shedeur Sanders film, and he would take a sack, and then his offensive lineman would try to help him up, and he would swat their hand away. It's yeah, try doing that to an NFL offense. Try doing that to Broderick Jones. By the way, the field goal is up and good. Cleveland up 3-0.
If Shedeur did that to Broderick Jones, Jones might sit his ass on the ground.
Yes. And apparently he didn't feel like he needed to come prepared for meetings either.
Dion says that's not true.
Well, teams say it's true. So
yeah,
I mean, if it wasn't true, they would have drafted him in at least the 2nd round. He ended up going 5th round. Kick is returned to the 29. Another decent return for Pittsburgh. And now Mason Rudolph takes the field. You guys can send in a donation if you want. We greatly appreciate it. They will start in I formation. Once again, they'll run it. There's Jalen. Look at the hole that he has. 1st down, Steelers. Gets all the way to the 46. This is why you run the football. Your quarterback is dog shit. You run the ball. I believe Will Howard is a 69, 68 overall?
68.
68, and then Mason is what, a 67?
Yep.
God, this is just a bad situation. Shotgun Mason, they're going to let him throw it. Don't throw a pick. He throws short, caught. DK outruns the coverage, and he picks up a 1st down. Now it's Bobby Trees. My mistake. Get those trees in the chat. Spam those trees in the chat. We got Robert Locke in the chat. DJ KJ is here. Cassie, of course, is here. Joe is here. L.A. Brooks. Shotgun Mason. Hand it off. Nope, they're going to pass. And here's the throw short. It is caught but low. Now here he goes. Is this Robert Woodsy? No, it's Calvin Austin, the speedster, picks up 25. And the Steelers, 1st down as they are inside the red zone. Let's go, baby. Let's get a touchdown.
Type those 7s.
You know what I've noticed about Mason Rudolph in these 2 games, Coop? He never throws a pass right on the money.
Oh, no, it's
always at his knees or behind him, or it's dirted.
Yep.
He never throws an on-the-money pass. It's like we got a linebacker out there or some shit. Shotgun. condensed bunch out to the right. Now they send a man in motion. It's Muth. Takes the snap. He's looking. He's got time. Now he throws it to Muth on the pivot route here. He's going to get 7. Inside the 10 now. And that is the end of the first quarter. DJ KJ, we're $10 away from giving away the hat. $10 away. Says, how are you, Jack and Coop? Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. There we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
Second quarter. Second down and 3 from the 7. Shotgun takes a snap. Mason, he's looking. He's going to go short again. It is caught by Metcalf. First down, Steelers. He'll get it down to the 2-yard line. Come on. Punch it in, baby. Punch it in.
Who's it going to be?
What's that? I don't know. Maybe Caleb? Maybe Jalen? They're going to go I formation with Darnell Washington at the fullback. Caleb? I believe that's Caleb. They're going to hand it to him. Oh, what a block by Darnell Washington! Touchdown, Caleb Johnson! Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. KJ gets in with the touchdown. Steelers take the lead. Big time drive by the Steelers offense and Mason Rudolph. Let me tell you what, man. If the Steelers win this game, Steelers Nation's going crazy that Mason's led them to 2 straight dubs. Pick is up and good, as always, from Boz, who had the game-winning field goal in Dublin last week. Good hold, Will Howard. Good hold, man. By the way, we are giving away a Steelers talk hat, or we need $10 to be able to do the raffle here, but $5 gets your raffle ticket. $10, we'll do 3 raffle tickets for you. $20, 10 tickets, plus you get your name on the gong. And $50, you'll just buy a Steelers talk hat for yourself. From the 4, good kick from Boz. And he's going to be brought down at the 26-yard line. That's where Shadur Sanders and the Browns will take over.
Let me put DJ KJ in the raffle.
First down for Shadur. Spread formation. Takes the snap. He's going to throw quickly, and it is caught. First down, Browns. Whoever that receiver is, they definitely worked hard to pick up that first.
Looks like Josh Cribbs.
He kind of does it. He's wearing 16 at the long with the long hair.
They're going to be a joke. They're the joke of the AFC North.
They stink. They stink.
Will they win 4 games?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Shotgun. Shadur takes the snap. He's looking. Pressure starting to get to him. Throws middle. Incomplete. Inaccurate pass. Second down and 10 coming up. That was the most zip I've ever seen Shadur Sanders throw a football with.
Are they having a 4-way QB battle?
Yes.
That is embarrassing.
You know the old saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none?
If you
have 4, you definitely have none. Shotgun. Shadur will take the snap. He will throw. Caught. One-on-one coverage. Darius Slay gives it up. Once again, 16 John. Oh, that's Deontay Johnson. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
It's Deontay Johnson. Gets some of that separation that he's known for, but he doesn't pick up the first down. It's 3rd down and inches. Spam those stops in the chat.
We got those 3s.
We got Christopher. We got Robert. Come on now. Shotgun. Takes the snap. They're going to throw it. He's going to throw short. Incomplete. Shadur Sanders stinks. 4th and inches.
Is that Dante Kent?
I believe that is Dante Kent, the rookie out of Central Michigan.
No way. Are they going?
Will the Browns go for it on 4th and inches? No, they will punt it like a bunch of bitches.
Pussy.
Browns are literally bitches.
And the punt was kind of shanked.
No, it was a good punt.
Good. Yeah, it was a good punt.
Good punt. Gets them inside the 20, but Mason Rudolph led them on a touchdown drive.
That was Brandon Eccles.
Ah, yeah, Eccles, my mistake. I think Kent is 36? I want to say, I can't remember. Shotgun here for Mason, takes the snap. He's looking. He's going to throw on the drag. It is caught wide open. Calvin Austin.
Oh, Calvin. Get upfield, son.
Probably could have picked up a first down, but he picks up 8 instead. Second down and 2. And you know what? If you're going to have Mason Rudolph throw, I appreciate that all of his completed passes have been within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage. Everything has been a dump off for Mason Rudolph, but hey, get that yak. Under center here is Rudolph. He'll send Austin in motion. He will go hand off to Jalen Warren, who has great vision, and he's going to pick up a big first down. Another big carry for Jalen Warren. First down, Steelers. Let's go.
Boom. Hey, if they run the ball like this IRL, they'll win a lot of games.
Yeah, man. I mean, this offensive line has done a hell of a job to start the season. Under center again is Rudolph. This looks like a run to me. They're going to send Austin in motion again. This time they're going to hand it to him on the jet sweep.
Oh, my God.
And he gets rocked after 5 yards. JOK again. F Coop in the chat for starting JOK.
F Jeremy, not me. Jeremy makes the rosters.
I guess.
Not like he's going to help him anyways.
They get back into shotgun. That's true. But, well, he already got an interception, so. 2-minute warning in the first half. 7-3 is the score. Steelers on top. And now they go spread here from shotgun. Second down and 5. They take the snap. Rudy looks quick throw, slant, caught. That is DK Metcalf and another Steelers. First down. Let's go. Type those ones. Type those ones. Mason Rudolph showing a little bit of efficiency here, not trying to do too much, getting the run game going a little bit. Back under center here is Mason. Steelers offense finally finding a rhythm. They're going to go 3-step drop, almost intercepted again. What a terrible decision by Mason. That could have gone the other way for 6.
Turnover-worthy play there?
Probably a turnover-worthy play from Mason there. Dropped interception from Cleveland. Didn't see the linebacker coming over. There we go. Condensed formation. Second down and 10. Takes the snap. Mason looking, throwing, outside caught. Gain of 6.
That's all right.
I couldn't see who the receiver was.
I think it was Calvin.
Was it Calvin?
Third and manageable.
But now third and manageable for Mason. That was a big completion right there. If it was third and long, there's like no chance the Steelers offense is picking it up. Honestly, third and long, they might have a better chance running it. From shotgun, they got a bunch out to the left, condensed to the offensive line. Takes the snap. He's going to throw quickly, wide open, caught Muth. First and Steelers! Muth! Let's go, baby. Greg Newsome in coverage.
Plenty of time.
Looked like zone coverage to me. Good job by Mason, had plenty of time. Just operating the short passing game. Nothing down the field for Mason today, but that's okay. We're moving the football nice. On the Browns 25, they're going to go 5-step drop, throws into a tight window, caught DK Metcalf. What a catch. And right when I say there's nothing down the field, Metcalf with a nice first down pickup, getting inside the Browns 15 to the 11. Inside the Browns red zone. Let's go. Come on. Make it 14-3. Timeout Steelers. 46 seconds to go in the half.
Got to capitalize.
So the Browns get the ball at half. So if you only get a field goal here, they got a chance to tie it coming out of the break, but a touchdown makes it a 2-possession lead, which would be very difficult to overcome for the Browns in the second half. So this is a big 46 seconds for the black and gold. Get those TDs ready. Shotgun Mason takes the snap. Going to throw quickly again, wide open, caught.
That's all right.
Gain of 6. We'll deke and dunk you all day, man. If you're worried about the deep shot, we'll take the underneath stuff all day. Calvin Austin the third on the catch.
The next deke and dunk's in the end zone.
Yeah. 5-yard line. Second down and 4. They have to get to like the half-yard line to be able to pick up a first down.
My prediction's DK.
Shotgun, Mason looking. He's going to throw it to Warren, and thank God it was incomplete. Terrible decision from Mason to throw it.
Was that a TWT?
No, it wasn't. It was just a bad throw. Bad decision. Third down and 4. Big play here with 39 seconds to go in the first half. They go trips left. Muth, the tight end, to the right. Takes the snap, Mason. Can he deliver? He's going to step up. Is he going to try? No, he's going to throw end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Steelers, Bobby Trees. Spam those trees in the chat. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Bobby Trees with the touchdown. What a play by Mason Rudolph. I think that might be one.
Oh!
Now there's a booth review. Are they going to fuck us? Did the knee go out of bounds before the foot? There's one. There's two. No, he's in. That's touchdown. That should be touchdown. I believe they're confirming it. They are. Good call, ref. Good call, ref.
You think they walked to the stadium today?
No, they are very
unbiased.
Very unbiased. Very good refs. Touchdown Steelers. That is a big touchdown in this Madden series here, guys.
You don't think Skeens gave him a nice little box seat to the game after?
Well, the Steelers now very much, I'm not trying to jinx it, knock on wood, but they're very much on their way to getting to 3-2 here. Kick is away. They're going to take it out at the 5. And they'll bring it out to the 26-yard line. Good tackle by the Steelers special teamer. So Shedeur Sanders has not played particularly great. Had a great opportunity to get on the board early. Got only 3, and now the Browns defense has given up 14 points in this first half. Shotgun, Sanders looking. He's going to throw. Tipped up in the air and intercepted by the Steelers. It's Brandon Echols, and he takes it to the 27. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. A good question here from 540. Says, what was last year's Madden record versus the regular season record? The Steelers, I remember, were a wild card in our Madden simulated season. They didn't win the division, but they lost in the first round of the playoffs. I can't remember if they had 11 or 12 wins, but
I don't remember either.
It was actually pretty accurate. Shotgun, Mason looking. He's got plenty of time. He throws, and it's caught. Bobby Trees again. Timeout Steelers. Still got one more.
Put him
Spam
on.
those trees.
By the way, we are $10 away from giving away a Steelers Talk hat.
Yes, we are. $10 away. Who's going to put in the 10 to lock in the raffle? Who's going to put it in? Come on. 17 seconds to go. Can the Steelers go up 3 scores before the half? Mason takes the snap. He's looking. He's going to throw short. It is dropped by Bobby Trees.
Goodness. He's got to have that.
Cleveland saw the man cover, or Cleveland has been saying, you're not deacon and dunking us anymore, Mason.
He's got to have that.
But by the way, that touchdown pass from Mason, maybe one of the 1 or 2 best plays of the entire season so far for the Steelers. The adjustment, the good vision. Here we go, 5-step drop from Pistol. He's going to throw it, caught to Muth. Gain of 4.
You just kick it?
3rd down and 6 with 8 seconds to go. I wouldn't kick it. I would try to get one shot to the end zone on like a fade to DK or something, but who knows? They might just kick the field goal here. No, they're going to go for it. 3rd down and 6, shotgun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Bobby Trees all alone on the right. Takes the snap. He's looking. Mason stepping back in the pocket. Now is he going to take a sack? Takes a sack. Timeout Steelers. Makes it a more difficult field goal. Mason, man, if there's 8 seconds to go, why the fuck are you hanging on to it, dude? Just throw it away. I mean, we've seen this from Mason, too. We saw this in the Ireland game, too, where he just hangs on to it forever if his first read's not there. Tell me if you've heard that one before, Steelers Nation. Cough, cough. Russell Wilson. Cough, cough. Justin Fields.
Cough, cough. Kenny Pickett.
Here we go. Relatively long kick. Honestly, not that long. Just a 38-yarder puts it up, and it is good. 14-point advantage for the Steelers. heading into the locker room. The Browns will get the football to start the half, but the pressure is on to get a touchdown to start the second half. Best first half that we have seen from the Pittsburgh Steelers in this simulated season. Where I think the most points that they've scored in a game is 20, and they already have 17. So just so give you guys a little bit of a halftime update here, here's our donation menu. If we can get $10 more, we are giving away a Steelers Talk hat. By the way, I'm probably actually going to wear this for the second half, Coop. But $3, you get raffle tickets, and now here we go. Second half is underway. $20, you get 10 tickets. $50, you just get the hat. But we're still going to give one away, even if someone purchased one. So it gets taken to the 25-yard line, and here comes the second half of this Madden simulated game.
Let's see what this bum Shadur's got.
Let's see what Shadur's got here. It's not looking too good against the Steelers defense to start here. They send a pressure his way, throws short. It is caught, but only a gain of 4 in Njoku, or a gain of 6, I should say. Sorry. Steelers defense getting after it today. Already an interception. Shadur Sanders has had a couple of inaccurate passes. Steelers go 2 high safeties here. Shotgun Shadur takes the snap. He's looking. Goes to his secondary read. It is caught. And for a first down. Looks like Cedric Tillman on the catch. Got over 240 people watching. Thank you so much for watching today's show. 17-3, Steelers up here in the third quarter. And if you want a chance to win this Steelers Talk hat, just $10 gets you in, and it locks us in. Shotgun takes the snap, looking, throwing. Good anticipation from Shadur. First time I've ever seen him throw with anticipation. First down, Browns.
He's not a real anticipatory thrower.
I think that the amount of true anticipation throws he had at Colorado last year, I could count on my one hand.
And you watched almost every snap.
I watched every snap that he played last year. Not a lot of anticipation on his film for somebody that's apparently a pro-ready quarterback. Under center, handoff. This is Judkins. They haven't run the football a whole lot today, but he picks up a solid gain of 4.
Hey, Tyler Shuck's going to start for the Saints.
Yep. Told you.
Shadur?
For the Browns?
We'll see.
I don't think he starts week 1.
Will it be Kenny?
I think it'll be Flacco. I think Flacco's their best quarterback, and that's a joke. Under center. Handoff. Judkins. Don't face mask him. It gets 1 yard. Good job by the Steelers' run defense.
Are they actually going to carry 4 on their 53-man roster?
No. They'll let somebody go.
They're going to cut Shadur Sanders.
How crazy would it be if they cut Shadur? Honestly, right now, he's starting as QB4 on the depth chart. He's going to have to beat somebody out. Shotgun here. Takes the snap. From empty. He's going to throw. It's caught open. That's David Njoku, and he's going to pick up a good gain. And once again, for some reason, Miles Killebrew is in the game. F. Coop for putting Miles Killebrew in the starting lineup.
F. Chugs.
No pressure on Shadur Sanders, and he threw one kind of behind David Njoku, but it didn't matter. Miles Killebrew sucks. I love you, Miles. We've had Miles on the show. He's awesome. He's really good at what he does. But now the Browns are driving inside the Steelers' red zone now. Shotgun, trips formation out to the left. Browns need a touchdown to kind of get themselves back in it here. He's going to throw it. End zone. Intercepted again. Oh, my goodness. Shadur Sanders sucks.
Darius Slay.
Big play. Slay with the pick. Type those INTs in the chat. We go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Steelers belt to ass against the Cleveland Brownies.
Bring their doo-doo.
Bringing the doo-doo with the white dog turd jerseys today. Handoff, Jalen Warren trying to kick it outside. He will pick up 3 yards. But, Steelers, if they end up sealing the deal here, and I will say this, if they get a field goal here, the game is over. There's Kenny Pickett sitting his ass on the bench.
Game's over if they get a field goal here?
Yeah, I just don't see Cleveland scoring 3 more times. We'll see. Under center is Mason. Handed off to Jalen Warren. He finds a hole, breaks a tackle, gets close to first down yards. Doesn't quite get there, though. 3rd and inches coming up. First down here would be very helpful.
You didn't wager me on the game today.
I didn't wager you on the game. You did offer, which makes me think the Steelers are going to win. But yeah. And also it being 17-3.
If you had said they were going to win, I would have wagered you.
I know. Under center. Just keep feeding the backs. Play action here. Rudolph throws quickly. Muth. He hangs on. First down, Steelers. There we go. Nice catch, Muth. So, I think with the 2 straight wins, you got to think about, Rudolph probably being the starter until maybe Rodgers signs.
Look, even if Rodgers signs, Rudolph might have to carry the torch.
He's going to throw to the flat. Darnell Washington incomplete. That's not happening. If Rodgers signs, he's still an 80 overall. We are starting him.
Are you sure?
Over a 67 or whatever he is.
I'm the GM.
Well, we're starting Rodgers.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What if I don't start him?
Too bad. Shotgun.
For you.
Rudolph looking. He's got time. He steps back. Now he throws to his check down. Good play, Mason. Getting it to DK Metcalf. He's going to pick up a Steelers first down. Good job, Mason.
Run that clock.
Good job, Mason. Run that clock, baby. Just a little step back in the pocket when his first read wasn't there. Calmly delivered it to his check down who picked up a first down. That's how it's done right there, folks.
Steeler Jacks, we're $10 away from giving away a hat.
Steeler Jacks, we are $10 away from giving away a hat. $50 if you just want to buy one straight up. Shotgun, Rudolph is going to throw quickly to the flat. Terrible decision. That is the 3rd time now that he's just thrown it immediately into the flat with a defender on his guy. It's not even the flat. It's a swing. It's just stupid.
Type those 4s.
But hey, going to the 4th quarter with a 14-point lead, a field goal pretty much puts it away. There's not enough time to have 3 possessions unless there's turnovers, but never know. But Steelers certainly in a good position right here at home. 2nd home game of the year. They won against Seattle 13-0 in the home opener. Now they're only giving up 3 points, and the only reason why they gave up a field goal is because Mason Rudolph threw a pick. Now here's the throw. Caught DK Metcalf. He breaks a tackle. There he goes. He's still running down the sideline, down to the 26-yard line. Dagger from DK Metcalf.
That's what the Steelers do, baby.
That's what I'm talking about. Just, not the best decision for Mason, not the best throw. Somehow DK Metcalf stays on his feet. He ran into a Steelers receiver. The throw is behind him and low. He's getting hit as he's catching it, and he broke a tackle and still ran it. What a play by DK Metcalf. Now from the Browns 26, Rudolph takes the snap. He's got time. He throws on the drag again to Calvin Austin for a gain of 3. Come on, baby. I can smell a victory. Just run the football. Why are we passing it, Coop? Run the football 3 times, kick a field goal, and they have 3.5 minutes to score 3 times. It's not going to happen. I formation. Just run it. Just run it. They do. Jalen breaks a tackle, but it's not going to do much. Just a gain of nothing. 3rd and 7 coming up. Don't throw it. Just wind down the clock. Wind down the clock. Hand it off. Wind down the clock again. Take a timeout, and then kick a field goal. Under center. They go play action. They're trusting Mason. Now he's shifting in the pocket. He throws. End zone. Stupid decision, Mason. Incomplete. First of all, it was way late. Second of all, it was in triple coverage. Third of all, it stops the clock. Just take a sack. Chris Boswell's more than capable of hitting from that distance.
You have to remember, he's an idiot.
So here we go to go up 17 and pretty much put this game away here in week 6 and improve the Steelers to 3-2. Boswell puts it up, and it is good. 20-3 Steelers lead. Everybody spam Boz in the chat.
Will he ever miss a field goal?
What's that?
Will he ever miss a field goal?
In this season, no.
He's perfect.
He is automatic in Madden. Boswell kicks it away. This game is essentially over, but we will get it going until we will have you guys covered for the rest of this game. Again, guys, it's the final countdown. We still need $10 to give away this Steelers Talk hat.
Oh, did we get it?
And we just got a Venmo, and we just got there. We are doing the raffle today thanks to this man right here.
What a ledge.
So here we go. Shotgun Shedeur. Let's see if he can do anything against this Steelers defense. He's going to throw. Good throw by Shedeur. First down. Browns gets to around midfield and into Steelers territory. And that is Deontay Johnson, who has his third catch on the day. Cassie is saying DJ KJ said we didn't show his super chat. I thought we did.
We did.
We can put it back on screen just so he sees that we showed it. But
scroll back, DJ. I'm kidding.
Shotgun Shedeur. He's got time. He throws wide open. Caught Jerry Jeudy. That was Brandon Eccles in coverage, and he gets a big gain down to the 25-yard line. Injury timeout. Fake injury. Fake injury. They just wanted a free timeout.
Shout out Kurt Crater.
Kurt Crater gets us to 50 on the day.
Did he have a message?
He says, here we go, Steelers. Good work, Jack Coop and Cassie. Thank you so much, Kirk.
Shout out to Kirk.
And I'll say this right now, guys. If you get a raffle ticket for this hat, you got a pretty decent chance of winning it. Not too many people are entered.
But we do have someone with 20 entries.
We do have someone with 20 entries, so they have definitely the highest chance of winning. Quick slant here from Shedeur. It looks like that is to Deontay Johnson again for decent gain. Be second down and 2 coming up, but the clock continues to tick for the Browns. If they want any chance of this, man, they got to get a touchdown before the 2-minute warning.
I saw a tweet from Tom Pelissero and I thought it was it.
Shotgun takes the snap, throws, caught. I don't even know who 10 is. Who is that? Oh, that's Judkins.
Quinshawn.
The running back takes it to the 5-yard line for the Browns, and now the Browns try to make this not as embarrassing. Shotgun Shedeur takes the snap, trying to get into the end zone for the first time today. He will throw his check down, caught. Good tackle by the Steelers on Quinshawn Judkins. That's the 2-minute warning. That's big, Coop, to have that stopped before the 2-minute warning.
No doubt. Force him to use a timeout.
Now, the Steelers are up 3 scores. It's not like I'm worried about it. But, we want to figure this out.
Are you not?
Shotgun takes the snap. He's looking. He's going to throw end zone. Open. Oh, I didn't think he got it. He didn't. Incomplete. Didn't get both feet in. Incomplete. 3rd down and goal coming up.
Are we going to have a review here?
No, I didn't think he got in. Hat guy LTs. I think this is Elevate LTs. $2. Got his hat. That's good.
Look.
It's good to see. Elevate LT's got his hat.
We'll show it in just a moment.
We'll show it in just a second here, Elevate. Under center. He's going to take a 3-step drop, looking to throw quickly. He gets hit as he throws. Is that a fumble? No, incomplete. 4th down coming up. Do the Browns just take
Look at that.
Do the Browns just take their beating like a bitch here and take a field goal, or do they actually try and get something here?
Look at that.
Got
his hat.
Go for the field goal, you pussies. No, they're going for it here. Come on, let's get a stop. I don't want to give up double digits. Shedeur takes the snap. They send blitz. They pick it up. Stepping back. Shedeur's got nothing. Now throws end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Browns. Whatever. Whatever. It's okay. Jerry Jeudy.
Are you sure they won't get the onside kick?
I mean, no, but yes. But Elevate, appreciate, says, good old-fashioned butt whooping. I mean, what else do you expect? It's a Steelers-Browns game.
Pic.
I know, I see it. I pointed it out. I said it looks like he got his hat.
I think he did.
And that's good stuff. Thank you, Elevate.
So we're not lying. We do give you hats.
So you guys can see here. We don't just say we're going to give them to you. Like, we actually do give you the hats. Kick is up, and it is good. By the way, DJ KJ just messaged me saying he got his today as well.
Let's go.
Shout out to those guys.
Send us a picture of you guys wearing your hats. We'll put you on the show.
So, because it's Madden, Cleveland will probably start using timeouts here.
Well, they are down 10, so probably.
Well, here we go. They're going to go onside kick. Kick is away. It's picked up by one hand by Calvin Austin III. Come on, I need a little bit more security there, Calvin. Need a little bit more security there, Calvin. But hey, you got the job done. Minute 45 to go. A first down finishes it. Mason Rudolph has been okay today. As far as performances from a 67 overall quarterback go, he's played pretty well today. Efficient. Hitting completions, not taking too many sacks, not making too many big mistakes. Handoff is a jet sweep to Calvin Austin. He'll pick up 1.
Timeout.
Matt Canada special.
They love the Matt Canada jet sweeps.
They love them in Madden, man. They definitely do.
It's a great play in Madden.
No, it's not.
It is if you're a user.
It's a shit play
Wrong.
if you're in Madden. You use jet sweeps in Madden?
In CFB for sure.
Well, CFB is better because you actually have multiple options in those. Handoff is the Warren. Good push by the Browns, who I think sold out for the run, and it's going to be a loss of 2.
Uh-oh.
Timeout, Browns. No, not Coop. Save me the please. Save me the We are fine. At the very least, it's going to be 20-17, and they one-hand the onside kick return again. God, Coop. Under center. Handoff. Jalen. Gets to the ground. Gain of 1. They'll punt. Timeout, Browns. No. Don't smile at me like that. They're gonna score a touchdown here, and then the onside kick's gonna be picked up. Maybe. We'll see. But hey, I want a good old-fashioned butt kicking like my man Hat Guy LT says. I don't want them to catch up and make this seem like it was closer than it was.
Shrek meme.
I want to kill them. Kick is away. And Cameron Johnson puts it at the 11. Good punt by Johnson. And Shedeur Sanders is going to have to go 90 yards and get the onside kick and get a field goal. Now, if you're the Browns, do you just get in the field goal range and then kick the field goal and then go onside so you know exactly how much time you have to get the touchdown? Throw is caught, but it's inbounds. Clock will continue to tick here. Deontay Johnson on the catch. Or should I say Josh Cribbs.
Is Corliss still technically on the roster?
Yeah. He's going to get cut, though. Apparently Johnston's been looking real good at OTAs. Play action. Pittsburgh sends a blitz. It's throw middle caught.
Nope.
Oh, no, incomplete. Jerry Jeudy dropped it. I gotta say, Shedeur Sanders has looked better in these last 2 drives than he did in the entire game before this. So maybe a little bit of confidence for the Browns, who are probably heading towards 0-5 or 0-6. Shotgun here. Bunch formation out to the left. Shedeur's going to take a deep drop. He's going to throw middle. Caught. First down, Browns. Less than a minute to go. But it certainly seems, guys, that the Steelers are on their way to 3-2 without Aaron Rodgers in our Madden simulated season. Now, granted, the first 6 weeks, the first 5 games are probably the easiest stretch of the Steelers season, but to come out of that, 500 still feels pretty good. Throw to the sideline, caught, first down, Browns. What a throw by Shedeur. Who was on the catch there? Was that Deontay again? Getting the toe tap in there? Now a booth review. Did he get both feet in? Are the refs going to...
Do we really need a booth review down 10?
I think this is a catch.
1, 2.
Toe drag. I mean, clearly...
What are we doing?
Clearly 2 feet. What are we doing, man? Who's wearing number 2 for Cleveland, by the way? That's not Amari Cooper. Unless Jeremy still has... Still has Amari Cooper on the Browns. Shotgun. Shedeur looking. He's going to throw down the field. Wide open. Caught Jerry Jeudy. First down. Cleveland, but they got no timeouts and just 20 seconds to go. They might just be able to get one play off.
It looks like the Steelers are going to win.
does appear the Steelers are going to win, and they're going to improve to 3-2 on our Madden simulated season. Our next game will be Thursday during our live show. I believe that's Green Bay, Sunday Night Football. Is that right? Is that week 7? Or is that, no, I think we got Bengals. There we go. Sack on Shadur Sanders. TJ Watt and Keanu Benton finish it off. Final score, 20-10. Steelers win in week 6, and they improve to 3-2 and have 2 straight wins with Mason Rudolph under center. So it's time to give away a Steelers hat. By the way, if you guys just Venmo me, at Jack Sperry on Venmo, at any point, it doesn't have to be during a live show, at any point during the week, if you have $50 and you want one of these Steelers Talk hats that we wear on the show and all that stuff, and there's a limited number of these, it's just $50 to buy one. So, by the way, it used to be $100. Last week it was $100, and we had to prove to our bosses that these things can sell, and they have. So now we've been able to cut the price on it by half, so $50.
We proved correct.
And I know 50 is still a lot for a hat, but there's a very limited number of these things, and it does help out a small business, all that stuff, guys. So if you want one, you can either enter the raffles that we do every single live show for a lower amount, or you can just buy one straight up for a $50 donation.
What's for Din Din tonight?
I don't know. I think Cassie's making chicken.
Ooh.
Because I'm expecting to be at the office until at least another hour or so after we come off live. So I don't know if I'm going to be in the mood to cook. But apparently our dog Rosie, after sitting in the car sleeping all day, just had to sleep and nap more today.
Really?
So she's been a lazy potato.
All right. Best of luck.
Best of luck to all those people.
I've got everybody in. And here we go.
What are the missing ones? It's like missing slots. Oh no, it might get into an unsigned.
We'll respin it. I don't know why.
Why is that happening? I guess nobody. I'm just kidding. No. We will spin it again. See who comes away with the hat. Is DJ getting another one? Well, DJ already has one. So we'll just give it to Jason B. Because DJ already has one.
Let's see if DJ wants to donate it.
Well, I mean, Jason doesn't have one, and he had the highest super chat today. Plus, DJ already has one.
We'll give it to Jason.
We'll give it to Jason. DJ, I'm glad to hear that you got one. You got yours the other day. So, Jason, you win the raffle today. I will send you a message on Venmo so I can get your... Well, actually, can you just put my email down in the L3?
I don't think he's even here.
Well, if not, I'll just send him a message. But Jason, you win the Steelers Talk hat. And again, guys, if you want to just purchase one for yourself, or if you want to buy one for someone else and give it away to somebody in the chat at any point, $50 donation, you can donate one of the brand new Steelers Talk hats that we are giving away here on this channel. So, got some good stuff in today, Coop. Talked a little, Aaron Rodgers, and talked a little Jerry Dulac nonsense as well. And
he's a joke.
Talked about Arthur Smith and why I'm optimistic about this team. And talked about some wide receiver rumors. We kind of covered all the bases here. We'll be back live on Thursday. I believe the Steelers play the Cincinnati Bengals Thursday Night Football, if I'm not mistaken, in Week 7. So that will be our next game.
Intern Sam wants to say hello.
Sam, you want to say hello? Like a ghost. But we'll figure it out after we're done here.
You'll have a surprise guest on Steelers Talk on Thursday. It won't be me.
That's right, Coop. It will not be here on Thursday. It'll be somebody else. It will be Jake Chipper will be here. So Steeler Chip will be here on Thursday. All right, guys, that'll be it for me and Coop here on a Tuesday. We'll see you guys later. Of course, if the Rodgers news comes or anything, we'll make sure to get you guys covered. But until then, here we go, Steelers.